Hello everyone and welcome to my new tutorial. This is the second one which has a central common element. The first one was the cross. This is the second one and then you will see the third whenever I upload it. So this is basically a triangle always made with superduo beads and seed beads and crystals. It's very easy to make and in the material you will be listed because I've already done that part of list. You won't see this final drop, but I've just decided to add it in later. But first of all, let's see, that's an element that you can add or not. This one is going to become a necklace for me. So I will add two parts of chain on the left and right corner. It's very springy. I like these colors. You always can have fun and change the color. Just go ahead and decide to do whatever you prefer. I think this is a very nice effect for this season. So let's see the tutorial and what I've done. So the material that I need, first of all, I will need these 6mm crystals, Swarovski. In this case, it's called matte alabaster. It's like a chalky white. Then superduo in white, and again it's 255007 in an opaque white. Then I will need 11 seed beads. This is the color I'm using. In permanent finish in a tall bed beads, and I bought them on this website. And the green is metallic in green, Swarovski pearls in 6mm jade color, and 3mm crystals, which I bought on Pearl & Planet, and the color is mint alabaster or alabaster, and then of course fine line 0.009. You can also go ahead and use a thicker one for this work. So let's start. So let me just explain for who didn't see the previous cross tutorial, which I will link you here. I mentioned that in both tutorial and in the next one we will have the same central element for the three of them. So in theory, I could send you back to the previous cross tutorial, but I don't want to. I don't want to send you back and forth, or maybe you don't really want to do that. So I've decided that I'm gonna recreate it from scratch in all the three tutorials. So just to make it easier for you guys that are watching. So I've started with 12 superduo. And I've closed them as a circle with a couple of knots, and then I passed through the work once so that I've basically lit a flower with 12 superduo beads. Once I've closed it, I passed once, as I said, passing through the above hole, and I will insert in between each superduo one 11 bead. So there you go. This is after this second round, and I will pass through from after adding the last seed beads. I will enter from the top hole, and I will go down in the bottom hole of any of the superduo twins. This is so that I can add the central Swarovski pearl in the central part, and then I will pass through just the opposite superduo bottom hole so that the pearl is centered just in the middle. Once you exit and add the pearl, you will exit from the top hole of the opposite superduo, and then exit from any of the seed beads on the edge, just like so. After the pearl is added in the work, and you have exit from any of the green seed beads, you will need to create these little arches in between each seed bead. For example, if I'm exiting from this one, I will add 3 more seed beads on the needle, and I will create a arch on the superduo, and then I will enter in the following seed bead, so that the final result is that on each superduo you will have a little 3 seed beads arch. So after you will obtain this very springy daisy shape, you will exit from the top of any of the arches, basically the last one that you've done. So at this stage I will need to add in between each arch a little 3mm crystal or bicon if you don't have crystals. So in each space, passing through the top point of each arch, like so. So I've added my crystals, and the last round for this element, and then the central element is done, because then the rest of the work is made up by three more different elements. So I need to add, the next step is to add 2 more seed beads in between each crystal. So I'm exiting from this crystal, I'm adding 2 crystals, and I'm entering the following one, I'm exiting, and so on for the whole circle. So that in between each space, between each crystal, you will have 2 seed beads. Just like that. Once this is created, as I remind you, is again the central common element, which is always be used for the next tutorial and for the previous one that I've done. Just leave the needle and leave the thread as well. Now put this aside, and we need to work 3 more components for this work, and then we'll have to put them all together with the needle and our thread so that we connect them, and we will end up with a triangle shape. So they're very small and fast, quick to do. So let's put this aside and start the new element from scratch. So the 3 separate elements that we need to create are made up like that. Start with 8 superduo on your thread, and exactly as you did with the previous 12, close it. The only difference is that this is 8 superduo instead of 12, and go up on the top hole of any of the superduo and add in between each space 1/11 seed bead, just like I've done here, passing through each superduo, of course. So as we did previously, go through the bottom hole and add 1/2 crystal, so that is in the middle, just like you did with the pearl previously, but with the crystal, and then exit from the opposite superduo and through the top seed bead. Once you've done, you can cut and tie your finish, and this is the little module that you have created with a little crystal inside as well. So I will close the work and I will cut the thread. You need to create 2 more exactly like this. See you as soon as they're ready. Done. Once this is done, these little 3 elements are done, I'm going to show you what you need to do next. So first of all, insert your needle again back in the previous work that you left aside, and exit from you see the top couple of seed beads just after the top crystal. So that's where your wire is coming out, and 1/11 seed beads, and go in between this rocaille, superduo, rocaille, and 1 more superduo, and enter through the side one. Pass through the crystal again, pass through this couple of seed beads, go through the next crystal nearby, and then in the next 2 seed beads, so that you go on the side basically. jump a crystal and pass through the next 2 seed beads. So we have connected the little flower with the seed beads that we added. We went down through here, coming out from the seed bead on the side. Here you will need to add 2 superduo on the needle, pass above the crystal and go through the next 2 seed beads on the side. Jump this crystal, passing through obviously, and then exit in the middle of the next 2 seed beads. So I've done it. I've added the next superduo. I've passed through the seed beads like here. I've jumped this crystal and I'm exiting from the middle of this couple. Sorry, I did it wrong earlier. You have to pass through these seed beads and this crystal as well. Sorry. So sorry for the confusion. It's not the top one, but it's exactly the next one. So let me just come closer so it's coming. So my mistake, not from the top couple. Apologize about that. I was distracted. So it's the bottom one. I've redone it, so forget it. Just this is the right this is the right one. So I will need to connect the little flower by adding 1 seed bead, 11O, passing through these seed beads, superduo, and the next one. Add 1 more 11O and passing by the work through the crystal. So seed beads, crystal, seed beads. This is how your needle will end up just after this couple, before the crystal. So that's added as well. We pass through that and we are basically exiting just before this crystal. At this point, I will just repeat the same step by adding a couple of superduo before entering in the next seed beads couple, the next crystal, the next seed beads, the next crystal, the next seed beads, the first seed beads, so that I will come out from the middle of this one in this couple. Done. So I've added the superduo, I'm exiting, and I need to connect also the very last element. So I will add 1 seed beads. I will pass through this element seed beads, superduo seed beads, and I will re-enter in this seed beads, passing through the crystal and then passing through the other crystal as well, the other seed beads, up here, the next 2, so that I will exit just before the next crystal, where I will need to add the last couple of superduo. So that I will show you what happened next. So this is after all these steps are completed and all these 3 elements are connected to the central one. And what to do next? So I've added the last couple of superduo and I passed through this side seed beads just after it. Now I need to add 5 seed beads and I need to connect to just these seed beads on these small elements. So I will have 5 seed beads that will connect up to here. I will pass through superduo, rocaille, up to the very top of this small element, where I will have to create a 3 seed beads arch, and I will pass through seed beads, superduo to seed beads, superduo. And on this case, even here, I need to create a bridge, passing from this bottom seed bead, creating this bridge with so that I connect this little element with the superduo beads. So let's do the first part first, this side, and then I will find you once I'm on top. So done. As you can see, I've added the 3 beads on top. and I'm going down to the side of the small element exiting. I will add 5 more seed beads, and just mirroring this side, I will enter in the seed beads, going up in the in a superduo, just like so. And now, after I've done that, I will need to add a crystal, 3mm crystal in between the superduo couple, and then I will enter the 2 seed beads just underneath. I will go out and I will create one more bridge made up by 5 seed beads, where I will repeat the same, creating a little arch, repeating the same for the same for the whole work, just like we did on top. Once you have completed the whole round, so you have added each point on each little flower, and once you have added the crystals in between the superduo, you will pass through up to the top, so that you exit from 1, 2, 3, just below the white petal, and add a 6mm crystal exiting from there and passing from the top wall of the superduo. Pass through the crystal in between, and then the top part of the superduo. Then add another 6mm crystal and enter in these beads, so that you pass through the last 3 beads before the flower, before the little flower. So let's see. So I have added the 6mm crystal, I passed through, I've added the other 6mm crystal, and I pass through the last 3 seed beads. I will pass through the whole work, all this little flower, and then I will exit from the third, and I will repeat the same with the 6mm crystals. Pass through these 3 beads, add another crystal, entering in the last 3 beads before the little flower, repeating the same on the other side. So now we need to do the last round to complete this work. After we have added all the 6mm crystals, we will exit from these seed beads just after the top arch, so this one. So here you will need to add 4 seed beads and enter the bigger 6mm crystal. Go out, add 1 seed bead, pass through the smaller crystal, add 1 seed bead and pass through the bigger crystal. After this, add 4 more seed beads, and go through these seed beads here on the side. And all you have to do is just to repeat the same operation on each side. And there you go, our pendant is completed. It reminds me of a flowered field. I've decided to add also this drop, which is a white crystal, and I will just add it with some little green beads on the bottom. And of course I will add 2 rings on each corner, so that I can add a triangular pendant basically. I hope you enjoyed this this tutorial, and I will see you to the 3rd tutorial. So it's going to be another surprise using exactly the same modules that we used for this one. So if you learn this, it's going to be easier for you. See you next time. Bye.